Well, with us to discuss the significance of this national holiday and the current state of anti-Semitism in Canada is Mr. Avi Benlolo, Canada's leading expert in Holocaust studies and the founder and chairman of the Abraham Global Peace Initiative. Mr. Benlolo, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you very much for having me on again.
So, Mr. Benlolo, what is the significance of Raoul Wallenberg to Canada and the rest of the world?
Well, look, Raoul Wallenberg was a champion of humanity. He was a hero. He was a Swedish diplomat who had rescued approximately 100,000 Jewish people from the clutches of Adolf Hitler in 1944 to 1945, approximately over a 6-month period. Canada, even though he wasn't a Canadian himself, but he imbues the spirit of Canada. When you think about our own, value system here of diversity, of human rights advocacy, of pluralism, of helping one another, this is the Canadian model and this is the Canadian way. And so first, Canada honored him as a honorary citizen in 1985. And then in 2001, in fact, they designated today, January 17th, as Raoul Wallenberg Day. And so this is a special day for all Canadians.
All right, sir. So tell us a little bit more about the steps that Mr. Wallenberg took to help these Jews that were fleeing persecution.
Well, look, in 1944, in the heat of the Holocaust, this is when the Nazi regime was essentially gathering Jews and sending them to concentration camps and death camps, in fact. Raoul Wallenberg was a Swedish diplomat who was assigned to Hungary, and he recognized what was happening, and he asked himself, which is a question I think everybody should be asking themselves in their daily life, is what can I do to help? What can I do to alleviate, what's going on with these people? They are about to be murdered, and so he decided that what he was capable of doing is essentially issuing passports, and they were called Schutz passes. And essentially, he issued them passports against what would be normal diplomacy and against his own government, in fact. And he was able to get them out of the country. And so they fled. They were able to flee from Hungary. In fact, many of them ended up in Canada. Many ended up in America, in Japan. And so they were able to flee the clutches of Hitler. And of course, the Nazis were very angry about this, but they couldn't do anything because here you have a government that is neutral issuing passports to these refugees, and they were able to get out. And alongside that, his story is so incredible. He was able to set up soup kitchens and various houses that would protect them while they were fleeing. And this was really one person taking it upon himself to really defy his own government, defy orders to do the right thing, which is to save human lives. It probably wouldn't have mattered if they were Jewish or Muslim or Christians. He just saw a need and he took action to help these people.
A very inspiring story indeed, sir. Now, considering that the Holocaust is long gone, we know the issue of anti-Semitism still is persistent in the world in Canada. What is the current state of anti-Semitism within Canada compared to the world?
Look, I have to say, and you asked me within Canada, but I have to step back a little bit and tell you, we just saw this past weekend an attack on a synagogue in Texas, the Beth Israel Synagogue, by an extremist. And, he took the rabbi and 3 other hostages for about 10 hours. And why did he target a synagogue of all places? He could have targeted any place. No, but he targeted a synagogue because he knew that this was where Jewish people go to worship. And so that is an extreme form of violent anti-Semitism, which is taking place today, both here in North America and particularly, I would say, in Europe. Where we've seen many violent attacks in places like Paris and many other places in France. And so, anti-Semitism today has increased dramatically, both online, and the internet. We see much more graffiti, anti-Semitic graffiti attacks. In fact, I would say to you that I'm here in Vancouver today, where we're launching our Power of One exhibit. But just a couple of weeks ago, there was a hate crime that I was informed about. A building, there was a whole building that was graffitied, blaming Jews for 9/11, when it's obviously clear that it wasn't, Jewish people were not behind the 9/11 attacks.